All right, we are recording. We're live. This is not pre-recorded. If you're here with me right now, we are live. Now, if you're watching this 10 years or 20 years in the future, howdy. How are you doing? So let's see who we got in the house here today. We're going to have a great class, and it's a topic that I haven't gotten to or haven't gotten around to teaching yet. But we're going to teach it today. So let's see. I got Peterson in the house. Marcia is in the house. Tanika. We got Mark Phillips in the house. We got Rebecca Wooten is in the house. What's up? Sharonda Bynum, and then Sonia is in the house. So I know we're going to have some other masters jumping on. And everybody says, Marcia says she's doing great. Rebecca says, hi, family. Tanika, hey everyone, and good morning / afternoon. That's from Mark Phillips, all the way from the beautiful state of Hawaii, and the beautiful island there of which you're on Oahu, right? Yeah, I think you're on Oahu. So anyway, let's get started.
Yes, Oahu.
Oh,
Mhm.
how you say it?
Oahu?
Oahu, Oahu.
Hmm.
Yeah, Oahu. And I bet you it's beautiful there today, boy, I tell you. I was talking to some friends that got stuck during COVID, so they couldn't travel. They came from Colombia to the States, and they couldn't go back home. So I couldn't imagine a better place to be stuck than maybe Oahu, Oahu. Got to say it right. So, all right. So you guys, I know you guys love when I talk about DISC, okay? And when I go through your profiles, we get to have fun doing that. So today we're going to be talking about DISC. We're also going to be talking a little bit about this other form that we call wealth dynamics, which I like a lot better than DISC, although it's a little bit more robust. So for most people, I just kind of keep it to the DISC um, until you're ready to graduate to that next level. So what I'm going to do first, I want to share my screen because I want to get right into what I want to talk to you guys about today. And there's a couple of announcements I want to make before that. So let me back it up here. All right, so here's what we're going to talk about today. Woo! Let me close this out. How to lead generate based on your personality profile. If you want more leads and you want to have an easy and fun time getting them, this session is for you. Okay, how to lead generate to your personality profile. Now, I've never really seen anyone teach on this. I'm sure there's training on this out there, but I have never seen it. At my former company, I was a coach for more than 10 years. And then before that, I was teaching and training at Remax. So I was with Remax for 5 years, Keller Williams for 10 years. And what we always would teach people, and now I'm at EXP, loving every minute of it, best decision I've ever made, been here a year and a half. But what we would always teach people is to do this or to do that or to lead generate this way or that way or to make the code calls or whatever it was. And what I found was that we weren't teaching our students how to embrace the you that is you. That's who God created you to be. Okay. Everyone is unique and different. We have introverts, we have extroverts, we have some that are in between. Okay. And so we've got all different personality profiles. And how can you get into this business, the real estate game, and dominate no matter what your profile is? And I'm going to show you how to do that. That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I've got a couple quick announcements. We got some new masters in the house. Want to recognize them. We've got Angela Skloss. She's a broker that has joined us. We've got Cindy Horn, who's joined us as well. Welcome, Angela and Cindy. Roger Parsons just came on board, and Roger is in the Florida area, beautiful Florida. We've got Mary Guzman, who has joined us from the Central Texas. She's out there in the Lake Buchanan area. We've got Elena, who is brought to us by Anthony Chambers. And by the way, Mary Guzman was brought to us by Will Gilliam. Thank you, Will. And then Anthony has another one. Man, Anthony is crushing it. Tiffany Clue is also, Tiffany Coe, maybe saying that wrong. But he is definitely crushing it. Anthony, thank you for bringing in more masters. I want to recognize also our masters of the month. These are the ones that are going into, they're getting toward their cap. Okay, remember, at EXP, once you pay in 16,000, you cap, you go to 100% commission, and you stay at 100% commission for the remainder of your anniversary. So Will Gilliam, he and Tony are both at 100%. By the way, we've got a couple more, about 3 more that have already capped since we made this, from this month. So we'll announce them next month. Katie Johnson's at 97% of her cap. Nick is at 94% of cap. David Dutton, Julie Green, Valerie Floyd, Alicia Martin, Terry Wilkes, and Sam Silver. They are proudly reaching toward that 100%. Now, our ambassadors, I want to recognize our ambassadors. So you remember we unveiled an ambassador program 2 weeks ago. And if you haven't watched the video on that, go back and watch the video. These are our ambassadors, okay? Will Gilliam is leading the pack. We've got Mina Slaughter coming in second place. Charles Lee right behind that. Nick and Melody both have 2, and all the rest of the masters that are part of our ambassadors have 1. We came up with this whole ambassadors program. And here's the thing, guys. I want to grow mentorship masters. Every real estate agent that wants to succeed at a high level should be here, okay? Because this is the one company I've been at that doesn't cost, it's actually, people have told me before, like, man, I get 100%. I'm like, why would you settle for 100%? I don't know why you would do that. Because I know last year at EXP, the company paid me to be to be here. Okay, because not only, even though I paid 16,000 in and I capped, I made more than 16,000 back, okay, in revenue share. So it's the company that you can be at, and it's better than 100%. Now, if you ever need support, remember, we've got Chris Capistrano. He's worked with me and the Knolly team for 6 years. This is his phone number, his email address. Super easy guy to talk to, super easy to reach out to. And if you have any questions whatsoever, if Chris can't handle it, guess what? He'll get in with Uncle Knolly, and then we'll get you resolved that way. Now, I want to quickly remind you about our ambassadors program. If you didn't attend, go back and watch the video, but I'm going to quickly go through it. You become a Mentorship Masters ambassador after you attract your first agent. That's right, your very first. You become an ambassador. There's 5 different levels of an ambassador, 5 tiers. There's basic with 1, bronze when you get to 5 or more agents. Then you get to silver when you have 10 or more. Okay, Will Gilliam's already at the silver level. You get gold when you have 20 or more, and then you hit legend when you've got 40 or more agents that you've attracted. It's easier than you think, okay? I got my first 40, took me 8.5 months to do it. Right now I'm at 71 that I've personally attracted, and I've been here for a little over 17 months. Now, local ambassadors, what we do is we collaborate and unite to host local area monthly events. Okay, this is optional, but this is something that I'm going to be leaning on my ambassadors, because the purpose of the ambassador program is to help you become a leader, okay, a leader, right? So it's not just me leading, it's you guys are leading where you are as well. Local ambassadors help assist our local area mentorship masters members. So it's not like full-on shadowing or mentoring, but we want to know that we've got local ambassadors in strategic cities that can help our masters when they need help. And then local ambassadors are prominently featured on our Mentorship Masters Ambassador website, which we're building, which is great for incoming referrals. I know many of you have already started to receive referrals, and the more you bounce around my name, okay, shameless plug, it's just the way it is. It's the way the universe works, at least in this realm, in this world. It's who you know, okay? And I have personally coached and trained over 40,000 agents at this point, okay? Do you think that some of those people will want to refer people to me? Of course they would. Most of my training is free. I've helped them build their career, and they would love to reciprocate. So our ambassadors are going to be generating a lot of that business. And the whole point of it is, I'm building our Mentorship Masters up to 40,000 agents. Let me say it again, 40,000 agents over the next 10 years. Now, EXP has a 10, loosely, I should say, because since we're publicly traded, we can't say that, hey, this is what we're going to do. But those of us that are in leadership, there's about 97 of us that are in leadership at EXP. And our goal is to grow this company to 1 million. Let me say it again, 1 million agents over the next 10 years. Okay. That is our big goal. There's about 20 million agents worldwide. We want to have 1 million of them. And that's our goal. So, and that's about a 5% market share. Not hard to do at all when you've got the #1 cloud-based company in the world. And we're growing very rapidly. So now here's what we came to learn, and that's how to lead generate based on your personality profile. Okay. If you want more leads and you want to have an easy and fun time getting them, this is the session for you. Now, before I go any further, if you guys have any questions about the announcements, I see Robert Graham is here. What's up, Robert? Robert Graham is in the house. Robert actually inspired me to put this training together because we on one of our other in our Knolly Success Coaching, I mentioned, and I've told you guys many times, okay, that you have, or I shouldn't say have to, it would highly be recommended that you lead generate according to your personality profile. Okay, let me say it again. You should lead generate based on your personality profile. And when Robert heard that last week, he was like, "Man, I need to know more about that. How does that look? What is that?" And even though I've done several DISC profile sessions with you guys as a group, and I've gone through your DISC, those of you that were on the call, this is kind of sort of a basis. Nobody really teaches this, by the way. You can go to any real estate school, any place, and I've never seen it taught. Now, there's probably people out there teaching it. I've never seen it. Okay. And so what happens is most people are teaching a very cookie cutter way of lead generation, which works for a certain personality profile. Okay. And I'll explain to you why that is. And that is because most people that are attracted to this profession, real estate, and most of the agents that write books and are teachers like me, most of them are high Ds, okay? Most of them. And so they're going to be teaching you things that work for a high D personality profile. So if you're a high D or if you're a DI, great. Those techniques will work for you. But if you're not a DI, like I'm not, okay, you're going to read a lot of these materials and books and go to these webinars and seminars, and you're going to leave excited about doing the techniques, but you're going to fall flat after a couple of weeks of implementation because it's not suited to your personality profile. So I kind of had to learn this the hard way, but I'm glad I did so I could teach you guys. So there is a beautiful thing out there which is called DISC, the DISC. This is time tested and proven. Millions upon millions of people have taken the DISC test, and it is the real deal. It is reality. Okay. So you've got to know what I encourage every single master that joins is to take your DISC profile. Okay. Now, when you take your DISC profile, you get a report that if you bother to read it, it's about 20 to 25 pages of pure information about you. Okay. Based on your profile. And so it's very important that you understand who you are, okay, so that you can become more of you. There's too many people out there, probably the majority of people, that are living a lie. I know it because 80% at this point of people, by the way, Gallup did a poll of 150,000 people, and closer to 80% of them either hate or dislike their jobs. In other words, they're doing something they were not tooled or fashioned to do. In other words, they are living a lie, an LIE. They're living somebody else's life. They're not living their life because they don't like the life they're living, and they're doing what they're not put on earth to do, okay? So when you get to the DISC, you understand, okay, this is who I am. And then when you get to wealth dynamics, you even get deeper into it. It can be a rabbit hole, so don't go too deep, but I want to kind of give you guys the broad brush so you can focus on it. DISC, okay? And you've got all these tools in the Mentorship Masters portal as well. I'll show you where those are as well. So let's look at this. D stands for dominance. It's results-oriented, driver, competitive, with the I standing for influencing. So an I is an influencer. persuasive, inspiring, enthusiastic. Okay. C is cautious. That's a person that's analytical, detail oriented, and very systematic. And then the S is amiable, democratic, and very patient. Okay, that's reserved. So you've got the reserved side, the task oriented side, the people oriented side, and the outgoing side. Now, someone was asking me last week, one of our masters was asking, is it possible to be multiples of these? Well, it's typically the case that you are multiples of these. Okay, it's very rare that you're just one. Most people are two, some people are three. Nobody I've met is all four. But and if they are, they probably have not scratched the surface of who they really are. Most people in this world don't even know who they are. They've never bothered to figure it out. So they're still living, mommy's life or daddy's life or whoever inspired them to do what they're doing or how they're living, the media or whoever else they're following. They're not living their own life. That's the majority of people that walk the earth. So if you look at this, most realtors or most people that are attracted to sales are DIs or ID. Now, you can be any of these and succeed in this game. Okay. You can be any of these and succeed, but you're going to have to do it differently. Now, the next thing I want to show you is wealth dynamics. Okay, wealth dynamics, basically, you'll kind of notice a little similarity here. You see that? Kind of a little similar because there's nothing new under the sun. What I like about wealth dynamics, though, is it takes the fifth element, which is the Holy Spirit, and it infuses that into personality. Because when you got the Spirit working on your behalf, guess what? You can take whatever personality you have, and it just creates something special, something unique and different. So in wealth dynamics, we teach that there are seasons. So you've got the spring season, the summer season, the earth or autumn season, and then you've got winter season. You got the four elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and the spirit being right in the middle of all of those. Okay. And when you look at these, there's different kinds of energy. So there's dynamo, blaze, tempo, and steel. Okay. Now I happen to be a steel energy. I'm a Lord. That's what my profile is. Um, on the disc, I happen to be an ISC. So my S and C are very high, and my I is very high. Okay. By the way, on the older test that we used to do, you would get a percentile, and some of the new tests are this way too. You would get a percentile of every single one. So that you'd have, this is what percent you are of D, this is what percent you are of I. And each of those can be 1 to 100%. Okay, so for example, you could be 89% I and still be on the SC, 80%. Okay, because it's basically taking the percentile of each of those different profiles. Now back to wealth dynamics, and I know this can be a little confusing. There are some cheat sheets that I've put out there on the portal. I'll show those to you that really can help simplify this for you as well. Because ultimately, it is good for you guys to understand this and learn for yourselves how to understand who you are. You don't put that power in anybody else's hands. You should know who you are. I mean, there is enough information out there on disc that, I mean, it's been around for decades that you could just, almost YouTube yourself to death where you could really learn a lot about this. Don't go overboard, but you should know about your profile and how you're wired. Okay. So the when you look into Dynamo, for example, that's going to be your creators. Okay. And right over there from creator, you're going to go to your star. The star would be like an Oprah Winfrey, creators like a Richard Branson. And then you're going to keep going into the supporter, the deal maker, like Donald Trump's a deal maker, the trader. Okay. Then you're going to get to the accumulator, the Lord, and then finally to the mechanic. Okay. Trust me. And basically what Roger Hamilton did in his wealth dynamics work is he broke this down into 9 distinct profiles, or eight profiles, I should say, instead of the 4 that we find in the disc. But it's still, at the end of the day, guys, same thing. So now that you've learned this, how is it important? Like, why, what does it even mean? Okay. So Rebecca says she's a DI. Okay. That's classic. It's very, very classic. Uh, you know, uh, I would say almost cookie cutter. And by the way, depending on your profile, that's how you come across. Okay. And the more genuine you become, like I'm basically a Lord. So I'm very still. I'm very, people see me as very friendly, but when I get into steal mode, which is what I really am, I could come across as a little bit cold, a little bit harsh, a little bit uncaring, because I really don't care that much. That's the truth. I was put on earth to be steel. That's what I am. And so you got to be who you are. Yeah, there is a test. Somebody's asking, is there a test for um, for this particular uh, what we call wealth dynamics? And there is a test for wealth dynamics as well. Sharonda says, OMG, that's so me. And here's the truth, guys. When you understand who you are, this is freedom. Okay, this is freedom. So when Jesus picked his disciples, they weren't all warm and fuzzy. He had some that were introverts, and you don't really read much about them. Okay, so there's some guys that, remember, he picked 12 people, and some of them were extroverts, like Peter. I mean, he was always putting his foot in his mouth and saying something crazy, right? Or something unique and awesome. And then there was some that you really didn't even like Thaddeus. Well, what did he do? Who's he? Oh, you mean Thaddeus, my boy Thaddeus? Oh yeah, he's back there. He's back there. He's cool. He's good, but he's just reading a book. He's keeping to himself. And that's the way it is. Everybody has their own unique personality profile, and we celebrate that about them. So if you find yourself a certain way, like for years, I was like, because what is my kind of my salvation when it comes to being friendly is I have a high I. Now, if you're just a straight SC, like Sharonda's an SC. So Sharonda doesn't, an SC is going to be a personality profile that is really not that attracted to people. I mean, I don't know a better way to say it. And see, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the person. Oh, you got to become more of a people person. You do not. You do not have to be a people person. Okay. You have to be you. That's all you have to be. Okay. Because God created us all unique and different, and we need each other. Now, you might need to, it might be a good idea for you to connect and partner with a people person, but you're a behind the scenes person. Somebody's got to work on the machine, the mechanics. Somebody's got to be in the chemistry lab. Somebody's got to be the pharmacist or the scientist behind the scenes. Somebody's got to be the engineer. Somebody's got to be the drafts person behind the drafts table. Somebody's got to direct the movie. Not everybody's meant to be a major player, major role. Okay, so everybody has their spot in God's economy. So we just got to remember that and understand. So how does this play out? Well, let me show you. You remember I wrote this book right here called Triple My Listings. Okay. Now, if you're watching this, maybe you're watching this on YouTube, or maybe one of our mentorship masters shared this with you, or maybe we just put it out there because we care about you and we want everybody to succeed, not just us. You can get this book at knolly.com. Okay. Knolly, KNOLLY.com. It's free. We ship it to you. You just pay the shipping. But in this book, I put together 27 marketing ideas for free seller leads. Now, the reason I did this was because my masters kept saying, man, Knolly, I'm doing the 2. That's 2 hours of lead generation every single day is what I teach. And they would go in the lead generation bunker and they like, I'm in my lead generation bunker. Now what? What do I do? And I'm like, because to me, see, I'm a steal. So there are going to be things that come to me or to you that are intuitive to you. In other words, it's like, duh. It's like, okay, so Knolly, I just put the bag of popcorn in the microwave. What do I do next? I'm like, dude, okay, then you press 4 minutes or press the popcorn button. Oh, the popcorn button? Yeah, you press the popcorn button and hit start. Okay, now what do I do? Dude, you just got to wait for it to. So a person like me, right? I have to be very patient. Like, okay, you got to, and this is the reason why you'll see in my trainings that a lot of times I keep them elementary as much as possible, and I keep them in understandable. Okay, I can get very heady because there's a lot in the head, but I don't try to go there because it doesn't serve anyone to be heady. So I came up with these 27 marketing ideas, and what I continue to tell you guys is go through here and pick the ones that resonate with you. Okay. So, for example, build a geographic farm. Okay. Now that there's a way to do that for everybody, no matter what your profile is. Canvas your target areas on foot. That's not going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to do that. Idea number 8, for example, create an area Facebook community group and YouTube channel. Okay. And so there's things in here that uh, do a mail out to every home in your farm. So what I say is go through here and pick the ones that resonate with you. And if they don't resonate with you, don't do them. The same thing I teach is, let me show you another thing. And this is the reason I'm giving you this broad of an overview is because when you understand the principles, okay, write that word down, principles. Okay, principles. See, everything that I teach has a principle behind it. There's a principle behind everything I teach. So whenever I'm teaching something, there's a principle. Now, when I can get the principle into your head, into your heart, if I can get that principle across, then you really don't need me anymore. Okay, that's the whole purpose of the teacher, is to become unnecessary. Okay, so because every one of you has a teacher that lives within you. It's not Knolly. Okay, I'm just leading you to the water, but Jesus says you can have that wellspring within you. And so when you understand the principle of a thing, then you're like, okay, what would Knolly do? Okay, he would do it this way, right? You start thinking that way. Now when I put together, for example, this chart that shows these are with my retail sale team. Okay, this is my listings. These are the things that I do on every single listing. Okay, and I have delegated some things out, and I've kept some things for myself. Okay, now anything that's highlighted in yellow or blue has been delegated. Anything that's not highlighted is what I do. Okay, now years ago I did an exercise. You could do this if you want, but I did, and this was probably in maybe about I would say it was about 2006 or 7. I noticed that in real estate there were certain things that I liked doing, and there were certain things that I didn't like doing, and there were other things that I hated doing. Right? So when you look at so here's what I did. I said I'm gonna rate everything that I do on a scale of 1 to 5. Everything that I personally do in the real estate game on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means I hate it. Okay. So a 5 means that I love it. Okay. And there's all anywhere between. Okay. So a 1 is I hate it. It could be a 2, which means I don't like it. A 3 is I like it. A 4 is I really like it. And a 5 is I love it. I love it. Okay. And I decided from that point, I said, I will only ever do 4s and 5s. Okay. I just went through every single thing that I did, just like this. Look, generate seller prospect, initial phone consultation with the seller, do the initial CMA, draw up the listing docs. I don't really like that or love it. So I just said, I'm going to delegate that. Conduct the listing appointment via Zoom. Okay. I really like doing that. So, etc. So I wrote down every single thing that I do, okay, on a deal from start to finish. Generate the lead all the way to closing and the 5 activities after it closes. Do I like to do those or not? Do I really like them or love them? And if I didn't really like it or love it, I decided I wasn't going to do it. And that's when I got into this whole area of delegation. And of course, at the time, I had a couple of people that worked for me. I've always had admin people, not always, but within a few months being in the business, I've had an admin person, okay, and I've never not had that. It's just because for me, life is too short to do the things I don't enjoy doing. That's just the point of it. So All right, let me see if you guys have any questions. People are asking about the chart. If you need the chart, just go to the portal. All of this stuff is in the Mentorship Masters portal. I'm going to show you how to get there and grab it. But hopefully you understand that principle. So the principle behind this is, if it resonates with you, it's probably within your personality profile. If it doesn't resonate with you, in other words, it's something you don't really like to do, it's probably not in your profile. Now, I get it. I get it. People are like, man, I don't like cold calling. I don't like it. I've never done one. People say, hey, but you got to cold call. Well, if that's how you feel, go for it. I don't feel like I have to do anything like that, so I don't. Just like I've attracted 71 people to EXP on my first line. Okay, personally have enrolled because I invited them, and so on. Now, I have not personally contacted any of those people. Okay, personally, I contacted them, but I didn't pick up the phone and call them. Two reasons. Number one, I hate talking on the phone. A lot of you guys just don't know that, but I do not like talking on the phone, and I avoid it at all costs. Number one. I have very few phone calls every day, like very few, because I don't like talking on the phone. And the second thing is, I don't like to be the initiator of a relationship. I just don't. It's not in my personality profile. Now, a D, like Rebecca, she could do that all day. She could actually literally, like Jesus was a high D, because he just came. He said, "Man, you gonna follow me?" He's like, "Who are you talking to?" "I'm talking to you, buddy. Get up and follow me right now." That's a high D. See, Uncle Nolly did. I don't roll that way. I'm kind of a little bit more meek and different, and it's okay. It doesn't matter. I am who God created me to be. Okay. Now, just because you're a personality profile doesn't mean you have to hide. Okay. It doesn't mean you have to hide. And by the way, I see Rebecca put something here. I appreciate you guys making all this stuff easy for people to get. But again, this is not, it's great that you got, and that's a D. Okay, here it is. I went and found it for you. Here it is. You guys have to see, I'm not, Uncle Nolly's trying to teach you how to fish. If all you did, and by the way, there's people that have joined me here at Mentorship Masters that have never learned how to fish. They're like, I want leads. Uncle Nolly, would you give me leads? I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you leads. I'm going to teach you how to fish. Well, why would you do that? Well, because if all I did was give you leads, you become my slave. Let me say it again. If all I did was give you something, you become my slave, and you become beholden to me. You need me. I'm going to teach you, hey, around the corner, about 1 mile up, you're going to make a turn. It's at Blue Bluff, and that's the watering hole that I use that's got all the fish you need. I don't have to go fish for you and bring it back to you, because I just told you now how to go get your own fish. You don't need me anymore. Okay. And that was really the purpose of Jesus. Jesus showed you how to find it. Okay. How to seek it out. He didn't just hand it to you on a silver platter. He asked questions. He said, well, who do people say I am? They said, well, man, some say you're this and that. He didn't just come out and tell them, hey, this is who I am, guys. He made you work for it. Why? Because once you worked for it, it became yours. Okay. And you stop becoming a slave. See, that's the slave mentality, is what most people want to leave, have the Homo sapiens live in. And that's the way we've been trained by the elites. Okay. That's a whole nother story. But the reason why I teach you guys how to do for yourself, it's noble to want to do for others, but it's not admirable in the grand scheme of God. Because when you look at God, see, God don't hand you nothing on a silver platter. Raise your hand if everything you got came easy. God just handed it to you. It didn't come easy to me. Now it might come to if you don't have any lessons to learn, that's cool. But Almighty God has lessons to teach his people. And that's why we got to go through it to get to it. Let me say it again. We've got to go through it sometimes to get to it, right? And only the strong survive. The ones that are just waiting for a handout, that's a whole nother study. But it's good that you guys help your people. As you're growing, you guys are becoming ambassadors. You're bringing people to you. Find out what their personality profile is. And then when you learn what their personality profile is you can meet them where they are. In other words, you can be sympathetic to, okay, this person's an SC. they're not going to do cold calling. So I'm not going to even teach them that technique. I'm going to teach them this technique over here. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And hopefully you develop a similar practice where you decide what it is that you want to do here. Don't let anybody tell you that you've got to do this or you've got to do that. You get to pick the experience that you have in this realm. Okay, let me say it again. You get to pick the experience that you have in this realm. And if it's within God's will, you're good. Now, let's see if we got any. Robert says, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for life. And that's the reason why you guys know that I'm like a broken record. I'm like, it's in the portal. But Knolly, I don't want to go to the portal. Well, that's where everything lives. Everything lives in the portal. Well, I don't want to go to Jesus for that. Well, I've got news for you. He said, I'm the way. So I don't know. You can go somewhere else if you want, but here's where it is. You see what I'm saying? So let me show you how to get, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys how to get to the portal. So what you want to do, and by the way, this is the way the portal works is that you have to be a member of Mentorship Masters to even access the portal. So you go into the portal. It's mentorshipmastersgroup.com/login. Now you can try to log in and set up a password and everything. When you get here, you ain't gonna see nothing. Why? Because the system knows based on your EXP email address, it knows that you're a member or you're not a member. Now, once you're in, to get to this stuff that we're talking about right now, you're going to go to this tab right here called Knolly Tools and Resources. By the way, I've spent over 100 hours putting this together for you guys. Why? Because I want you to succeed. This is not, I personally have put this together. This is something I built on the back of ClickFunnels, okay? Nobody built this for me. Every single thing that's here, I personally hand picked it. Every single line of text, every single video, everything I personally uploaded. Nobody has access to my ClickFunnels account. I do this myself. It's a labor of love. Why? Because I want you guys to be successful. Now, if you go to Knolly Tools and Resources, go down here to Disc Profile Test. If you want to take the test, you click on this red button, take the free online disc test now, and then there's some cheat sheets. There's the Disc Basics info sheet. You click on that, and it's going to give you this basics, which I highly recommend you go through. Very, very good exercise to kind of go through and learn. And then the other one, download the disc cheat sheet. That's going to download this one right here. Now, I really like this one. This kind of goes in, it's a 2-page. So it gives you more of a big overview on if you're a D or you're an I. So this is, how they talk, what they do. You should try to and be ready for, and how to manage your high I's, how to manage. So this is really a management tool, really, the way this is written. But it helps you, if you're building an organization, it helps you to know who your people are and to be able to meet them where they are. If you're a high S or you're a high C. Now, what questions do you guys have? So that gives you kind of a broad brush. Start typing your questions in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. And the last thing I'm going to say is, so here's the question. Okay, Knolly, I've taken the disc. I know what my profile is. How does that how do I use that to decide how I'm going to lead generate? Okay, because I'm an introvert, but even though I'm an introvert, I knew that and you'll sense from the Spirit. That's why we say the fifth element is the Holy Spirit. I was told that I was going to reach His people. I was going to be a public speaker. Now it's a little bit like Moses. When I was a kid, I was in speech therapy. I still don't talk all that well. I've got to kind of watch my diction and pronounce my words and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not a natural speaker, if you will. But when God called Moses, Moses told him, he said, "Man, I'm slow of speech." And what he was saying was, when you go back to the original text, he says, "I'm a stutterer. I mumble. I'm a mumbler," is kind of what he was saying. I don't even know how to speak clearly with clear diction and all that. And God told him, he said, "Do you know who created the tongue?" So don't use your quote so-called handicap as an excuse for not succeeding. That's never going to be an excuse. You are the way that you are because God fashioned you that way, and you can have success no matter what. One of the stories I like to tell is about Lance Loken, because Lance Loken sells over 1,000 homes a year, and he never meets with clients. Okay, you might see a video with Lance Loken. By the way, if he ever does an interview, it's probably gonna. I tried to find some interviews that he did. They were like 20 minutes long because the guy is just not that exciting. I mean, he knows it. You know, I love Lance. He's a great guy, but he's just a boring dude, right? But he is a whiz when it comes to the back end systems. So that's what he focuses on. He's created this whole thing where he can sell 100 homes a month by creating this elaborate back end systems, these systems, and then he has an army of agents, a team that just go out on all the appointments. They're happy and bubbly, and they go to happy hours. Lance doesn't do any of that. He doesn't like people. Let me just say it that way. He doesn't like, I'm sure he loves people, but he doesn't like people. That's not how God wired him, and it's okay. It's no big deal. If you don't like people, who cares? Now I like them from the standpoint, me personally, from the standpoint that they're God's creation and he loves them. Yeah, Lord knows why. I can't get it. I don't get it. But at the same time, I'm just not lovey that way, and it's just not the way I was wired. Now, some of you guys love, like Robert, he loves being around, people and, warm and fuzzy and all that, and that's cool. So the point is be you. And so when you're doing your lead generation, you're going to know this is me. And you're going to know this is not me. Okay. This is not me. Cold calling is not me, but Rebecca could do it all day long and succeed at it. Okay. So don't take someone else's gift and try to make that into your own. Okay. So, Rebecca, you don't like cold calling. You probably, because the reason, if you don't like it, you don't like it because of the results, but you wouldn't mind doing it because yeah, Rebecca says I've never cold called. That's probably just because you're smart, right? But then there are other people that do cold call and they are doing phenomenal. Like Nick, I interviewed him, and I'm going to be sharing that interview with you guys within a week or so because I wanted to know, how did this guy make 85,000 in GCI commissions in 1 month? In 25 days, he made 85,000 in commissions in the height of COVID-19 in the middle of Seattle, where COVID-19 has just ravaged everything. How did you close 5 deals and almost pocket $100,000 in commissions? How did you do that? So I interviewed Nick. He shared with me how he did it. I'm going to be sharing that with you guys very soon, probably next week or so. But get this, his sphere of influence is only 32 people. Let me say it again. Nick's database is 32 people. So, you can make excuses or you can get into it and get it done. And that's what he chose to do. All right. So what questions do you guys have around this? We got Charles Lee in the house.
Hey, man.
Hey, by the way, some of you guys might be raising your hand, and I know that Zoom just came out with a feature where you could do that, but I don't see any hands raised. And so just yeah, just
Hey, Knolly, it's Charles.
yeah. What's up, Charles?
Hey, man. Yeah, so I'm a CD. I think we've talked about it before. And yeah, I do not like cold calling, door knocking, anything like that. Just not me. So I spend most of my time, if I'm doing lead generation, I do a lot of direct mail, videos, stuff like that. I love doing the videos, and I like doing the direct mail. I mean, is that kind of where I should be focusing my time then?
Yeah, so a lot of people misunderstand. That's a great question, and the answer is yes. That's where you should focus your time. Now, a lot of people, Charles, they misunderstand what lead generation is. Now, when you're lead generating, you can only do 3 things. Okay, 3 things, period. You can generate new prospects, follow up with existing prospects, or you can develop and implement marketing plans. Now, here's the issue with a CD. A CD, because you lead with your C, you're going to want to develop and implement marketing plans.
Mm.
I mean, you're going to want to spend 80% of your time doing that. Okay. But the reality is that you only get to spend 20% of your time implementing and creating and implementing marketing plans, no matter what your profile is, because that's not the number one thing. You want to generate new prospects and follow up with existing prospects. Okay. And it doesn't mean listing appointments. That going on a listing appointment is not following up with an existing prospect. Going on a closing is not lead generation. That's why I don't understand. Like I don't have closings between 9 and 11. That's when I'm lead generating. Oh, you're going to close at 10? Well, I won't be there. Hey, I'll wave at you. Or if you have a question during the closing, call me and I'll pick up the phone. We'll talk for 5 minutes. But I lead generate every day from 9 to 11. I do it every single day. That's how I'm successful. Okay. So I'm not going to interfere with success because you wanted to close at 10 a.m. Okay. If you'd have asked me about it, I would have told you I wasn't available. And if you don't care that I'm not available, I don't have to be there anyway. That's just a closing that I won't go to. Okay. Because you have to be bullish with your lead generation time. Okay. Nobody's going to feed your family. You got to do that for yourself. Okay. So going back to you, Charles, yes, that is exactly what you should be doing, but just avoid going too far down a rabbit hole of doing busy work of, okay, I'm putting together my flyer, I'm picking my font. Okay, my colors are not just not right. I want to move this over. Okay, I'm going to take that to the printer. Yeah, I'm going to do another campaign next week. Campaigns. Okay,
Right.
but back to the YouTube. So YouTube video is lead generation. That's what I do for lead generation. So you'll find me in my studio where I'm at right today, and I'm doing a YouTube video. I do that during my lead generation. Well, how is that lead generation? Well, for me, because my lead generation right now, I'm listing agents. Okay, I used to list houses. I did that for many, many years. Now I list agents. That's what I do. I'm a lister of agents. Okay, and so most agents like my YouTube videos, so that's what I do. I do a lot of YouTube videos. Probably most of you guys found me on YouTube. That's how people find me, and so that's what I do. So yeah, you could do YouTube videos around like you're doing the probate. You come up with educational videos about, hey, when is the right time? Or, what does probate mean, or how do you go through that process? Those videos are very educational. They're evergreen. They live forever, and you're having a wise use of your lead generation time. Plus, when you're creating a campaign, like you say, hey, I want to get 15 attorneys or 20 attorneys, whatever that is, you can actually create that campaign and then execute that campaign as a C, okay, and be very successful at the execution of it. And you could make up for the seemingly lost time. So a high D might be able to hit the ground running and get traction for 2 or 3 weeks or even 2 months while you're in your layer coming up with your strategy. But guess what? As soon as you launch, okay, you might have spent 2 months working on it, but as soon as you launch, you're going to catch up with the D just like that because you put a lot of strategy behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So those things do fall within the category of lead generation. Just make sure that it's generating new prospects and following up with existing prospects is 80% of your activities. Now, if you don't have the system put in place, you might be like you're putting your probate system in place, or you put that in place. That might have taken you a couple of 2 or 3 months, but guess what? It's a once and done. You don't have to do that every month. Now that your system's in place, now it's just execution. And you could be running that for the next 10 years, next 10, 15 years.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Anyone else? Any questions that you have for me around? Because I know this is a very robust topic. Most people, and if you have a question, just butt in with it, or you just throw it in the chat. Most people think that lead generation is making phone calls. Okay, and you even hear, and whenever you hear something like that, you know that it's a high D teaching it, which is fine, because if you're a high D, that's going to work for you. But I would hear them all the time, like, man, you're supposed to be making phone calls. You're supposed to be making your calls. I don't make phone calls. I don't make a single phone call when I lead generate. I never have. Don't do it. And so, but I still lead generate every day, and I still generate a ton of leads, tons of them. Okay. I've got right now probably about a little over almost 200. Let me see where it's at right now. Agents that are on my follow-up list about joining Mentorship Masters. So let's see. Right now we're at 198. Yep, 198 people that have already reached out to me about joining Mentorship Master, but they haven't joined yet. I had one texting me this morning and says, "Hey, man, I'm ready to talk. Let's talk." I said, "Well, let's go. I got some Zooms today, but let's talk this afternoon." So we're going to be getting him on board. But I don't make phone calls during that time. Just now, some of you guys are. That's what you do because you're a high D, or you just don't have any other ideas. And that's the reason why I'm like, look, you don't only have to make phone calls. You could be doing, there's 27 different things you could be doing. Just pick 3 or 4 of them, not that many, just 3 or 4. But when you pick them, make sure that they resonate with you. Now, I think everybody should be doing video. Let me say it again. Now, probably I'm wrong about that because I've seen, I've seen some people videos. I'm like, you shouldn't be doing video. That's not really true. The truth is, when you first start doing video, you're going to suck. You're just going to suck. I did. and then eventually you suck less. Garrett White taught me this. And eventually you suck so little that you're actually good. And then you just, there's a transitional period. Do it anyway. Doesn't matter. Okay, Robert says, where can a person find their DISC results and information that will assist them in defining the appropriate training and tools to aid in the growth of their business? Your DISC profile, I just showed it to you. You go to Mentorship Masters, go to the portal, and there is a link to take your DISC profile if you haven't taken it already. If you have taken it and you don't know where you misplaced it or whatever, I think you can log in and find it. I think, because I think they save it. I'm not 100% sure. Or just take it again. It's free. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. Take it again. It's a free test. And did you guys catch that? How to take it? Let me just show you again because Robert's asking. So you go to, hold on. Okay, so you go to Mentorship Masters portal. You log into the portal, and then you go over here where it says DISC Profile Test, and then you click the red button. See that? Free online DISC Profile. There's a red button. You click it, and that takes you to the DISC Personality Test. Okay. By the way, I try to make this as easy as possible. I call it the KISS method. That's what I teach, KISS. Keep it simple, huh? Sweetheart, not, yeah, I know what you were thinking. Keep it simple, sweetheart, or keep it super simple. And so you just click it, and then you take the test. That's how easy it is. It's either a thumb up or thumb down, and you just go through all the questions. Okay, so that's, and then once you take the profile, it's going to give you a report. And the second thing you have to do is you got to read the report. The report is very clear about, hey, this is who you are. This is what you should avoid. This is what you're going to like. This is what you're not going to like. This is how you should interact with people, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very detailed. When you find out what your personality profile is, just do the research and find out who you are. I mean, nobody sat down with me and had, went through my profile with me. You just got to go out there and say, okay, I'm a DI. What does that mean? And just start researching it. Find out who you are. These cheat sheets, for me, the cheat sheets that I've given you, especially this one, it makes it really simple. Because this way, if, like Charles says, hey, I'm a high C. So how do they talk? They ask why questions, okay? Now, the S, they make small talk, okay? The C's, they ask why questions. They ask versus tell. So they don't really tell you things, they ask something. They listen more than they talk, etc. Goes through the way that they are, okay? And so, by the way, guys, this is the real thing. You might think it's woo-woo or it's crazy. I've been studying. I took my wife and I were going to the same church when I was 19 years old, okay? That's when we met at church. When I was 22, we got married. We've been married 28 years. I'm 50 now. But we met at this church, and they had a group come in and did this personality profile test. And so we both took it. We weren't, you know, dating or anything at that time. We were just church members. And I was 19. I was 19 years old, maybe 20, when this seminar came through to our church, and I did my profile, and I took it again when I was 42. Okay. And it's the same, you know, you are you. Now, there might be some things that you've changed or you become more of who you are, because I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that many people, because they were maybe had a dominant parent or a dominant spouse, or somebody they've been subdued from being who they are, they don't even know who they are. So there might be a little bit of trying to figure out who you are if you've been under that kind of subjugation, if you will. But if you've had some time to really express and be you, you know, like I'm very unique. I'm eclectic. You know, I'm a very unique person. I wear an earring. I wear an earring on a listing appointment. I wear earrings to church. People don't like it. I don't care. You know, if I'm hanging out with Jesus, I got my earring on. Okay, I might get another one, right? Who cares? You know, but that's just me. I'm not saying this for everybody else. It's just I know who I am. And most people haven't spent time to figure that out. Okay, any other questions that you guys have? Has this been good? Has it been helpful? Does it make sense? Type it in the chat if this has been helpful to you. Let me know. All right, Mina says always. Rebecca says yes, it's been very helpful. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. Okay, good. Oh, Mark says, I feel you. I got 2 earrings. I haven't, you know, my mom told me when I was 18 years old, she said, boy, you ain't never gonna get no ear. No, I was about 16. She said, you ain't coming in this house with no earring. I said, Mom, I'm getting an earring. She said, you're not gonna get an earring. So I moved out when I was 16, got my earring the first thing I did. Yeah, boy. Okay. Tanika said, yeah, it was great. I had a woman get after me one time about the earring on a listing appointment. I still got her house sold. I listed it for her. Some people, I mean, you know, and it's cool. I don't judge, but some people are sensitive about certain things and they take it a little too far. I went to a church like that was very legalistic too, but that's cool. Rebecca says she took the test again and she's an ID now. What I recommend, and no big deal, because you might have a feeling, you're a DI before, now you're an ID. It's still the same thing. Just now your I is coming up a little bit more. Maybe you're in a more happy place in life or whatever. But I would say that when you're taking the test and you just really aren't that sure, and this is what I do. I have my wife take these tests with me. Okay, I don't really teach this, but I'm going to tell you guys because it's a good point that Rebecca's making. So I have my wife take it with me because why? Because she knows me better than I know myself. Okay, she knows how I am. Okay, you guys, like, I'll give you an example. You guys think that I come out and teach you all this stuff because I really care about you and I love you. That's part of it. I do love you. You know I love you. Ain't nobody in the world would do what I do if I didn't love you. Okay, but in reality, I'm not a very caring person. You know, I'm like, if I'm gonna show you what to do. Like I'll say, hey, the lagoon is over there on the right, and if you cast out about 6 feet, you're gonna catch some fish right there. Now, if I see you walk past the lagoon, I just gave you the advice. I see you walk past it and you go to the next spot, you don't catch nothing. I don't care because I already told you I did my job. See, I used to be attached, and this is what I want to teach you guys is to you have to practice what I call detached compassion. Let me say it again. You have to practice detached compassion. You are not responsible for the results of someone else. Okay, God called you to tell, and that's it. Your culpability ends right there. Okay, the watchman on the tower, God told him, he said, man, if you don't tell the people, I'm gonna hold you personally responsible. But if you tell the people and they don't do it, your hands are clean. So that's what I do. I say, you know what? Almighty God has commissioned me to get in front of the masters every single week and tell them the truth. Now, if you guys do with it, that's cool. If you don't, I do not care. I'm just being real with you. I'm not being mean. I just don't care because the reality is that's between you and Almighty God. My hands are clean. My conscience is good because I've told you what to do, right? And you didn't do it. That's on you, 100%. And I will not take any responsibility nor culpability for your success. You are responsible for your success and not me and not nobody else. You can excuse and make all the excuses you want, but guess what? Just like me, you're going to have to stand before an Almighty God, and you are answerable for the things that you do, not for oh well, I didn't know it this way. Well, that's that. Guess what? Guess how I learned it. I did not complete past ninth grade school. Okay, ninth grade was the last grade I completed. Now, you think I learned what I learned just by somebody came and told me? No. Get out there and get to it, guys. Nobody's going to hand it to you on a silver platter. And so yeah, I do. So the reason what I was pointing to you was that my wife knows that I don't really care that much. Like, I'm not like a fuzzy caring guy. I care, I care enough to tell you, but I don't care about the results. That's up to you. And so, because that's none of my business. That's your business. And why you didn't do it ain't none of my business. Maybe it's not ready for you right now. Maybe you're not ready to receive it. Maybe it's 2 years out for you to get this. There's some things I learned that I didn't start practicing for years. It just wasn't the right time. So I don't judge any of that. So I'll have my wife with me and she'll say, nah, that ain't really you. You're that way. And I'm like, yeah, I really am that way. But I like to be that way. She's like, yeah, but that's not you. And she'll hold me accountable for giving the right answers. A lot of times you guys will take this test and you'll answer it the way you'd like to be, but you're not answering it truthfully of who you really are. And that's the reason why I would say have somebody that really knows you better than you know yourself over your shoulder. So then when you're about to click the answer, they're like, nah, come on, girl, you don't. Yeah, I know. And then you click the right one. That's how you get the right test. Yeah. All right. Peterson says I need to retake it. All right. I'm down with that. Yeah. Because a lot of times we take it of what we would like to be, but don't worry about what you'd like to be. Just be you. God loves you just the way you are. Okay. God didn't try to change people before he brought them on. He just went to the tax collector. He said, man, you handling business for me from now on. I'm doing what? He said, just get up from your tax table. Come on, follow me. He didn't try to reform the guy first and try to get him to, no, that happens later. All right, so we have hit our hour. I appreciate you guys. I love you. I thank you for your time. It means the world to me that you decided to spend part of your afternoon with Uncle Knolly. I know you got a lot of things you could be doing that are probably more excited to hear me rant and rave. But I do love you guys. I do love you. You are the object of God's fascination. And so I ought to love what God loves. And I do love you. And I appreciate you. And I thank you guys for being here. So unmute yourself. Say goodbye. Until next week. Oh, yeah. I'm going to see Mina next week. What's up, Mina? All right. Mark, I hear a baby.
Okay. I forgot I unmuted myself. Meant to say bye. Say bye.
Right.
Say bye.
All right. Bye. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Yeah, Mina and I are going to be hanging. You're just trying to make them jealous, Mina. Mina is coming to my house. We're going to be hanging out. We're like, we ain't scared of COVID. We're going to hang out for a little while, and we'll do a video of it. Much respect, Peterson. Love you guys.